Hello everybody, welcome back to my Daily Dose with Tim. Today is season 3, episode 22. And oh my goodness, it is too funny because ever since the episode yesterday, I've got comments as well as DMs and just a lot of people in general really wanting to know a little bit more in terms of the process and the who, the where, the how, the when in terms of raising funds. And so I just figured that we continue on this trajectory. Like I mentioned, my Daily Dose with Tim episodes really they've always been grown very organically. I have some general topics in mind. However, anything that is relevant and that is helpful that you will want to hear about, that you will want to learn more about, I'm happy to put these episodes on. And as you probably remember, still in Niagara-on-the-Lake in Ontario here. So today, the episode is brought to you by, Trias. This is my first time here. And then we also have Isabel, Ray, and Gustavo once again. So you're going to still hear 3 different perspectives. And hopefully that is helpful to you because I understand that every single one of us, we have different methods, different thought processes, as well as different stories that might resonate with you better, that might inspire you more. And so first thing first, I'm going to hand my phone over to Gustavo so that he can share a little bit about the who, what, the when, or how, or one of those things, or a combination of those elements when you are raising funds. And once again, I really want to stress the fact that unless you are licensed by the government regulatory bodies, you are not allowed to actually post rates or raise funds from the general public via Facebook posts, via any sort of public marketing, okay? Want to make that very clear, first of all, before I hand the phone over. So here we go. Without further ado, I'm going to have Gustavo come on here and share a little bit about his thought process with you.
Hello everybody, this is Gustavo again. And so one of the things that I always think is very necessary when you want to raise funds is being vocal. Like being able to tell and everybody know that you actually in the business, that you actually looking for funds to invest, and people that want to invest in your project or in a specific project. If you stay quiet, a silent investor is a broke investor, we always say, right? So you have to be vocal and be very, very conscious of the numbers of your deal, what it means, what is it that you're looking for, what are you offering, what are you looking for investors to have and to do with you. Be clear, concise, know the numbers, and again, being vocal. So just to give you a little bit of a sample, yesterday we were just doing one of these videos actually, just letting everybody know that we are investing, that we are investors in real estate. And it happens that a realtor was able to hear us well enough. He approaches and just say, hey, how you doing? I'm a realtor. What is it that you're looking for? And you just start, wondering about what we do and how we do things. Now, this did not guide to or resulted in a raising funds per se, but it's a sign of how do you connect with the locals, with people around yourself that can actually be part of your investing journey or your real estate journey. So just being vocal, guys, being open up and honest, sincere about what you do, how you do it. Get everybody involved, everybody around you. Let them know that you are actually in the business, that you're actually able to help families bring additional sources of income to their household. It's a key. Everybody wants additional sources of income. Everybody. You can't name it. Everyone wants additional sources of income. Most of us don't even know how to get that additional source of income. Most just learn or grew knowing that they have to go to work hard, and it's their hard work that is gonna pay the bills. Some don't know that also their money can't help paying the bills, and that's how we do things nowadays. Let the money take care of the hard business, right, Ray? I'm gonna hand it over to you, my friend.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. So I asked a question to a lot of our students and quite a few of my mentees, and that question is, what are we most afraid of when we reach out to somebody and introduce our business? And a lot of times people are afraid of getting that big scary R word, rejected. Really, nobody likes being rejected. However, when somebody says no to your business, are they rejecting us as people individually? Or are they rejecting or having more questions around, is the deal right for them? And there's a difference between an outright no and asking more questions. A lot of uneducated investors, as soon as somebody decides to ask more clarifying questions, get their back up, they get very upset. And really, this is an opportunity for us as trained real estate investors to find out and learn, hey, how can we better share this opportunity? Or better yet, ask questions about what the potential JV money partner is looking for before we even attempt to share the deal. Because that way we can position the opportunity in a way that applies to what they're looking for. Again, a deal can be structured in many ways, and what we want to do is make sure it's a win-win. That's the trust your talent way. So find out, what are their terms? How long do they want to invest? What kind of security are they looking for? And this way we can present the deal in a way that they are certainly listening for. Too many people do what we like to call, and what's commonly known in the industry as, spray and pray, sending the same messaging out to as many people as possible. And really all that does is label you as a spammer. And you're training your people to ignore you. And is really that what you want? People to ignore this great opportunity, this great deal that you spent a lot of sweat equity and your precious time putting it together? No. So that's why ask questions, structure a way to remember what your people are looking for, and then customize the messaging to each and every person. And for a lot of uneducated investors out there, this would seem like, man, that's a lot of work, Ray. Like, why the heck would I do that? Well, what's your goal? Do you want to reach as many people as possible? Or do you want to actually get funding for your opportunity? And if you want to achieve the latter, then customize to make sure that the messaging of value is communicated between what your deal is and what it will do for your potential JV or money partner. Because again, too often, uneducated investors just send out spreadsheets expecting the other person to know what on earth that spreadsheet is, what value it provides for the potential JV money partner. And a lot of them are too busy. So do the work, add value, ask questions, and customize the messaging to your potential JV partner. And on that note, I am gonna pass it back here to Tim.
Hello. Okay, here I am. I know it's my daily dose with Tim, and some of you, I know if when you hopped on, you're like, well, that's not Tim. Well, anyways, like I said, two heads are better than one, and in this case, for 2 days now, you've gotten 3 different ideas, 3 different concepts. And so right now, having heard what Gustavo and Ray shared, and again, like I said, this topic has grown very organically so far since the first episode. And so what I really want to share with you is a quick story, actually. So at one point, this was really, really early on in my investing career. And so what was happening was that I always said, and some of you know my health history, I've had 3 minor heart attacks, and I still deal with 6 different autoimmune disorders on a daily basis. And this is why I will forever be grateful for achieving financial freedom, because truly it gave me the time freedom to take care of my health and putting it first. And so with that said, one of my things was always, one of my whys, I guess, was that when I became financially free and had a time to do what I wanted to do, I wanted to volunteer more, and especially in the hospitals that have taken care of me so well in the past. And so I decided that I was going to go and get a volunteer position And my background was in marketing and sales, so I figured maybe I can help with fundraising or something that I would think would utilize my skills really, really well at the time. And then the funny thing is, when I walked into the volunteer office at the university hospital, basically what happened was there was actually all the volunteer positions were either filled or they weren't looking for any more. And the only thing that was left at the time was to have somebody occasionally help with driving, catering food. This is back in 2012, 2013 at this point. So we're talking 11, 12 years ago. And so that's what they were looking for. Somebody to basically just come and help out and set up some of the luncheons that they would have at the hospital and on campus for doctors and surgeons. And so I did that for a few times. And one particular time, I was there doing a setup, and I think this may have been like a Tuesday or Wednesday afternoon, randomly. And I started setting things up as per usual. And then this lady came up to me, and as I was putting things, laying things out, she came up to me and she basically asked me, "Hey, Tim, right?" I was like, "Yes." And then she goes, "I've seen you here a few times now, and you look pretty young. It's a Tuesday afternoon. How come, like, do you work? Do you need to work?" And then I basically just told her, well, yes and no. I do still work. I work in the capacity of a real estate investor. And so the conversation just kind of opened up, and I got to share a little bit about my story and my journey to financial freedom and not having to hold a regular job anymore. And I could do what I wanted to do, and also while taking care of my own health. And she was so fascinated. We had a very meaningful conversation. And then at the end of that, she goes, "You need to talk to my husband." Turned out the husband actually is a surgeon at University Hospital. And so very shortly after that, I had a coffee with them. And then I learned that they actually had a small portfolio of all single family homes. Excluding their own very beautiful mansion that they lived in, they had 7 executive single-family homes, meaning they were all expensive, beautiful properties. However, every single one of them was not cash flowing. Every single one of them they had to feed into on a monthly basis. And so once they actually learned about what I do, what I learned, how I did what I did, effectively they became my capital investors. However, first thing first, and this is why in the previous episode, I did share with people my initial approach when people say, "Oh, you're a real estate investor. Is that like a realtor?" And I always say, no, I'm like a financial planner, except that I leverage real estate investing as my tool to generate multiple sources of income and create long-term wealth. And so that was literally how it happened. And that particular incident had a lot to do with how I came up with that approach, because I was able to look at the performance of every single property, do the proper due diligence in terms of what kind of fair market rent that property would actually be getting, what kind of tenant profile we're looking at, the market that it was in, and maximize the return on investment, or hoping to turn the performance around. Long story short, we ended up turning 5 out of the 7 executive homes into lease options, and the other 2 we decided to let it go so that they can free up the capital, and then we ended up going into multifamilies. I mean, at this point, I want to make sure that nobody is thinking that this happened overnight. This happened over the course over nearly a year. Okay, I want to make sure that is very clear, because again, we talk about the know, like, and trust process. First, people need to notice and then get to know you, and they need to like what you're doing and how you're doing it, and perhaps your personality a little bit too. And so also, trust is built one deal at a time. And that's why, even though I did say 5 of them turn into lease options, obviously we had to do 1 at a time so that they get comfortable with the process. We formulate a solid working relationship, because at the end of the day, it's like any other relationship. Communication is so important, especially in an arrangement like this. Okay. And so that's the story that I really want to share with you, so that combining with what Gustavo and Ray just shared, also, you kind of have a little bit of a hard skill approach, and you also have a little bit of mindset adjustment, and hopefully, if for nothing else, your perspectives have altered. The idea behind this is really, you can potentially find OPM anywhere, anytime, and in anyone. And I have a few more stories. Actually, I have tons of stories that I can share. However, we'll save that for the future episodes as well. With that said, thank you so very much again for encouraging this particular series on the topic of raising funds, because I understand that it's one of those things that, you know, we've taken courses, we've really thought about it either, or maybe we're just kind of worried about how we're going to do it. And so the goal with Daily Dose, as you know, unscripted and somewhat structured, however, really largely inspired by your comments and your feedback and your questions. So keep them coming. I'm pretty sure tomorrow's become a bit of a part. Whoops. Well, I had a call coming in there. Okay, so I'm just wrapping up here. Just want to make sure that tomorrow it's likely going to be a continuation of the raising funds topic. And this might actually go for a long time, just because I understand that this, you know what, as simply as we put it, there will be process and steps and systems that we can all put in. So likely that's going to be the next one. And your comments, your feedback, and your DMs are very, very welcome. And I appreciate you for joining me and indulging me for sharing my journey and my stories and experiences with you on a daily basis. So with that said, tomorrow is Wednesday, June 7th. If you're in the London, Ontario or Southwest Ontario region, make sure you come out and join us at the next TYT Connect. It's the first time that we are in London, Ontario ever since TYT started about 3.5 years ago. And we have students from coast to coast in Canada, across the US, and a few international spots too already. And this is the first time we're in London, and we are so excited to meet you in person if you've never met us before. So come out, and I will be posting the Eventbrite link in the comment section just so that you are able to get yourself registered. Spots are limited just because we are hosting it at the Chopsteak House, and we need to be respectful for the venue's capacity limit as well by law. And so hopefully we'll see you tomorrow. And on that note, enjoy a beautiful, beautiful day ahead of you, and I will come back and see you at the next Daily Dose with Tim. Live well, everybody.